You know what, Sam?
What?
Take two.
Yes, take two. So yes, take two, because as we were recording our take one of this episode, our internet decided to fail. So
Yes.
it just hopefully this works out.
You missed all of my. You missed me really being very funny because everyone knows that I'm the funny one.
Okay, yeah. And those who aren't watching us on YouTube, our names are displayed. Uh, where you see both Sam Wallace and Sam Driscoll. In this episode, though, Sam Driscoll is editing his name as Sam the Huge Caniac Driscoll. So, one, if you aren't listening to us and just listening to us through traditional podcasts, that's completely fine too. But every once in a while, you should check us out on YouTube. Subscribe to us because you get to see our faces. You get to see what
Yes,
we look like.
and I love to do the huge Caniac as a great honor to the great Trip Tracy, who is the original huge Caniac.
Yes, he definitely is. So, Sam, let's get down to business here. So, some podcast stuff. Obviously, we have a link for donations. So, if you feel like you want to donate, there is a description to that link in both our YouTube and our traditional podcast side of things, like the Apples and Spotify's and all
But
that
I
stuff.
understand if you want to stick with the audio, nobody wants to see Sam. If you want to see me as well, you can hold up a piece of paper or something and watch on YouTube and just look at my wonderful smiling face.
No, don't do that. No, don't. And if you do, don't even tell anybody. Don't even tell me.
No. You specifically need to tell Sam Wallace.
No. Because that's just gonna hurt my feelings. And it's already a Heartbreak Hotel, basically, so far. The way things are going. Isn't that right, Sam?
Yeah, it is. But you know what? The hurricanes get you through life. Even when
Yeah,
they're bad,
they
it's
help.
something to look forward to. I mean, good lord. I mean, just aside in a complete rabbit hole I'm going down, but for a lot of people, which is what's great about hockey, right? You know, politics gets crazy, life gets crazy, everything gets crazy. But you know what's great about hockey, especially in this area, is it brings people together, gets your mind off things, and it is awesome. So I love hockey for that reason. And whenever anything bad happens, I always hope it's during hockey season, so that way, you know, it can be distracting. And I'm sure you agree with that too.
Yes, I do completely agree with that statement. Another thing, too, Sam, we do currently have a ticket giveaway going on, and that is to the St. Louis Blues on Sunday. And Sam, like what you said, DM us, message us, whatever you like to do to communicate with us. Our email, if you do want to email us, is in our episode descriptions. Just shoot us a message saying which favorite edition is your favorite. So, or
Yes.
which edition is your favorite? My bad.
Yeah, which player that we added this offseason is your favorite? I will choose a winner out of off random or whatever. Right after warm-ups Saturday. Make sure you're in by the end of warm-ups Saturday.
Yes, definitely. Please do that, and keep an eye open on your messages and DMs around that time too, because you never know, we might message you back saying that you have won. So
Yes.
that's
So
just how
keep an
we
eye
do
on it.
things.
Keep an eye on it. I would like to. The reason I'm doing that way, give you a little time. I want to announce. I want to announce it. By puck drop on Saturday. You know what? I'm gonna do a little something here, Sam. We're gonna
Oh
help the
boy.
podcast. If you want to have 2 entries, so your name listed twice, you get a better
Oh my
odds.
gosh.
Better odds. Leave a review. Review the podcast. Snapshot it, however, so we see it. Make sure we know it's there. Let us know it's there. That you did a review on like Spotify, Apple, whatever. Again, this is an extra step, but if you want to be entered twice, It doesn't guarantee you're going to get it, but it gives you better odds, right? Maybe the odds are ever in your favor. All I ever
Send
do
us
is
a screenshot of that review so that we know you
exactly.
did it.
Now, if it's a 1 star, I ain't doing squat for you, okay? It's better be a 5 stars. We're best friends at that point, right? As Mike Maniscalco says, 5 stars, best friends for life. That's what I expect here to be entered twice. Anything lower than 4, we ain't talking. Leave us a review. That'll get you a second entry if you've already done the first thing. Yes, it's another step, but you have to do more if you want better chances at winning the tickets. I think that's fair. Don't you think so, Sam?
Yes, I do. I would say probably anything below a 3, I probably have a bit of a problem
3.
with.
If you have a 3 for us, I want your one. If you do rate us lower than 5, 4, 3, give us reasons why. Tell us how we can improve. In general, we want that too. You might like the podcast, but think we can be better. So do that. We're trying to, we want to be like we talked about, like the rankings of the podcast at one time. We want to be number 1. So if you rate us and review us and do all that,
it helps. It helps with the algorithm.
Pushes us up. So if you want us to be above certain other Hurricanes podcasts that shall not be named that are really bad, because we're close to being number 1. We were close. I think we were pretty close, but we want to keep pushing past some of them and continue to widen that gap. Make sure you review us. But again, review us, just screenshot it, send it right over to us on Twitter, Instagram, however you want, just to show you did it. On YouTube, right? You can review us on YouTube, like the video, or I don't care, whatever you do, however it makes it look good for us on that. Just send it over to us, show us you did it, proof that you did it. You're added in for 2. So if you did the first step, then you do the second step, you get 2 entries, and you have, and I mean, write a review. I mean, however you think that should be done. I don't care.
And we can tell whether it's constructive criticism or not.
Yes. Now, if you're Graham, I don't want your reviews.
Graham, our favorite,
he's
our favorite listener, Graham. Yes, one of our favorites. All right. So another thing too is on Black Friday, which is November 29th. Don't expect an episode that day because that Thursday is Thanksgiving. We want to spend time with our families, so you'll only be getting 1 episode that week. But after that week, you'll get the normal 2 episodes, Mondays and Fridays. So that's pretty much it for podcast stuff. And
did
now,
you
Sam,
go through Black Friday? No episode. I know we did it on first. I know we did it on the first take, but I couldn't remember if we did it on.
I just did it.
We did.
Yeah.
Okay. Very good.
Yep. So that's pretty much
selective hearing, Sam.
I can tell.
Like most of our listeners, I tune you out when you start talking. No, I'm kidding. It's Roast Sam podcast today. It's Roast the Sam Wallace podcast. Yeah.
No.
He's squinting at me right now.
See, this is a great opportunity to watch us on YouTube because I'm squinting at him pretty hard right now.
When you see that face, that means he actually likes what I said.
No, I do not. On what planet on God's green? Well, hold up here. That's a contradiction. What planet in the universe are you from?
This one.
You sure about that? Yeah. To me, you're headed toward Venus right now. All right. Well, let's get to some league-wide news, Sam. A trade happened this week.
Yes, it did.
Lars Eller has been traded to Washington for a 2025 5th-round pick and a 2027 3rd-round pick. Sam, it sounds like Pittsburgh is making a lot of players available for other teams to possibly get. Seems like Kyle Dubas realizes this team needs to get younger, and I agree with him. This is a very aging team, and it seems like every player is available except for their franchise centerman and Sidney Crosby.
All right, look, you know what? Get me Malkin.
I love Malkin. I really would.
I would even take Michael Bunting back. You want to bring him back? Bring Michael Bunting back. I think he's a good addition to this group too. Plays the way that this, Rod wants him to play. I don't think Malkin really fits the system. And in all honesty, I don't think Malkin fits the system. I think, again, I've said before, I think Rod should adapt a little bit. And I think a second-line center of Evgeny Malkin as an interim replacement till you get your true number 2 is not a bad not bad, better than what you got. And I think KK's having a good year, so they're probably not looking to add a second line center.
No. Mm-mm.
But if you want to
Maybe
add
a
some
first
scoring,
line center.
well, if you want to add some scoring punches right now, I mean, even if not, if you want to look at some upgrades, I mean, go window shopping. It's what I said. If
Yeah.
people are truly available in Pittsburgh, do some window shopping. They've got players that people are going to want.
Exactly. Another thing too, Sam, former Hurricane and James Reimer was put on waivers, and I can tell you were really passionate about us trying to claim them, especially after the circumstances
I
with
want Jimmy.
Kochetkov, which we will get to. But
Bring me Jimmy.
Buffalo was the one that claimed James Reimer, and yes, Sam, they are higher on the waiver list than we are because it's based on points. Because I'm pretty certain when it comes to the waiver list, whenever a player goes on waivers, the team that goes first is usually the team in last place. So he just never came to us.
Bring me Jimmy.
Oh my gosh, Sam.
Love James Reimer.
I love James Reimer, but he never came. Buffalo snatched him first.
Look, we're gonna, in all honesty, we'll talk about this with the Hurricanes news. I'm not gonna go into it right now.
Yeah, but another thing too. This is the last thing for league-wide news, Sam, because this week what happened? All the NHL general managers met up and they had their meeting, and there were a couple things that they talked about. One was the length of reviews and the playoff rosters. Apparently, especially with the playoff rosters, seems like there are some GMs not happy with the LTIR usage.
Big old shock.
It's not a shock, but
I'm actually a little surprised they're broaching the topic, mainly because where everybody hates it when other teams do it, other teams are going to do it too. So I'm surprised. I want to see it happen because I don't think it's fair for like Mark Stone to always be out from like trade deadline to the playoffs. Just perfect timing to get all that cap space. It's a little icky.
It is a little bit icky. But let's you know what? Let's go to an ad, Sam, and then we'll get to some Hurricanes news real quick here. I know one of the most exciting things about Black Friday is a laptop that I can get $250 off. That's something I don't normally get. Except with Raycon, because with Raycon you get an amazing deal on premium audio every day of the year, but that doesn't mean they're not having any sales for Black Friday. Far from it. They're actually doubling down on their amazing value by offering my viewers up to 30% site-wide. For example, they now feature a 32-hour battery life and multi-point connectivity that lets you pair with 2 devices at once, especially if you haven't checked out their latest model, which includes plenty of new features that make them even more of a must-have for any audio lover. It's time to save big for Black Friday. Go to buyraycon.com/THPN today to get up to 30% off site-wide. That's right, you'll get up to 30% off everything on Raycon's websites when you go to buyraycon.com/THPN. Okay, Sam, Hurricanes news. Quite a few stuff happened on the waiver wire for the Hurricanes, but first, one thing that's concerning is Seth Jarvis. He was out. He could not. I think it was both Vegas and Utah where he couldn't play.
Yep.
Yeah, it was. So Jarvis being out, that sucks. At this moment, we do not know what is going on with Seth Jarvis. He will be reevaluated probably very soon because we know Hurricanes are probably back at Raleigh at this time. Hopefully we get an update soon. But right now as we're recording, there's no update. Sam, I am just a little bit concerned about Seth Jarvis. What about you?
If Jarvis isn't playing, there's a problem. They're going to reevaluate him tomorrow, which is Friday, or today as you're listening to this. So as soon as we have an answer on that, we'll retweet it so you guys see it. I'm sure you'll see it before that anyway, but it's just, if he's not playing, I don't think he's healthy, and I think that's the concern.
It is a concern, especially when, I would argue Hurricanes have 4-star forwards. 4. That's
Yep.
Aho, Jarvis, Netchus, and Svetch.
Yes.
Now, am I saying that they're all playing at a star level? No, which we'll get to. But that's kind of the core 4, kind of like what in Toronto, how it's Matthews, Nylander, Matthews, Nylander, Marner, and Tavares. Those were the 4. Yeah.
Agreed.
So we kind of have that here in Carolina, and with Jarvis out, that really hurts because we just don't have that star power depth like we did last year.
Yep.
Which is why this next piece of Hurricanes news, Sam, is that the Hurricanes have called up Tyson Jost and Ty Smith. Ty Smith has been on a journey because he was called up, we sent him down, then we called him up. And to be honest, I don't think he ever left the team. I think this is all just paper moves just for cap reasons. But I mean, I've already seen Tyson Jost play. He's played, I thought, pretty well. But once we saw those 2 call-ups, we know Jarvis being out, it might at least take a while. Wouldn't you agree, Sam? With those call-ups.
I had to sneeze. Yeah, I think it's a concern. I said that before. I mean, I think the scary thing is the injury bug starting to bite. We've really been, I think, fortunate to not have that problem to start the year, but I mean, we've seen since we haven't won a game since Jarvis hasn't played.
And, well, no, we have, because he didn't play against Vegas.
Yeah, he did.
No, I don't think he played against. Remember, Tyson Jost maybe he did play against Vegas.
I thought his last game. No, you're right, because we lost the first game of the road trip, Colorado. That was the last game. So we've won 1 and lost 1. So you're right. He didn't play against Vegas. So he's been out for 2 games. And it's just it's a concern. I mean, you need Jarvis. This is a team that already is light on talent, as is. At least when I say talent, I'm talking high end, take a game over talent. This team has talented players, right? Jack Roslovic is very good finisher, but he needs he needs talent to make it happen, right? And the reality is you still need Jarvis. Like, you need to have Jarvis. And because he gives you more talent, a player who is naturally gifted and is probably your best goal scorer, if we're being honest with ourselves. Best finisher on the team. It's not good, and we'll find out tomorrow more about Jarvis and more about Kochetkov. It was also a concern now.
Yes, Kochetkov is a concern, and my last piece for Hurricanes News, Sam, deals with Chicago because they signed a goalie in Mark Sinclair to a PTO. And when I saw that, Sam, I was like, oh boy, here we go. Because Kochetkov got hurt against Utah, and we don't know if he's hurt or not. He fell down awkwardly.
Yeah.
He really did.
Yep.
I think he was holding on to his hip or something. I think it's a lower body injury, just from what it looks like.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, oh boy, you don't want a prolonged Martin-Peretz tandem. That won't end well for you at all. Martin's going to get 99% of those starts when it is that tandem. But I guess the team's going to have to take a look, and it's dependent. Where's Freddie Anderson at in his return? Is Kochetkov long-term? And in my mind, if either Freddie or Kochetkov are long-term,
You need to
You
get
need,
a goalie.
yeah, you got to go get one. So if one hits the waiver wire, you pick them up. And I mean, Reimer's been on what, two, I think, or three teams this year. This was not the first time that Reimer was on the waiver wire. So like if Reimer hits it again and he comes to you, you got to pick him up.
Yep, I agree.
And that's, again, I think you're fine if Kochekov's not out long term and it's just short term, and it's like Martin for 2-3 games, and then you know you're getting Freddie back. Or if it's Martin for 2-3 games and you're getting Kochekov back, I think you're okay. But if we're talking 2 weeks, 3 weeks before we're getting either of those guys back, I am not confident that's going to go well for this organization.
Yeah, I'm not either. We'll see how that goes. Sam, let's get to two more of our ads, and then let's get to both the games, and then we'll call it a day. The quest for the Stanley Cup starts now. The puck's dropping on the 24-25 season. Get in on all the action at DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NHL. It's super easy for first-timers to get started. Try betting on something simple like picking a team to win. Go to the DraftKings Sportsbook app, select your team, and place your first bet. And if you are new to DraftKings, listen up. New customers bet $5 to get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code THPN. That's code THPN for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets when you bet just $5. Only on DraftKings, the crown is yours.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly. On behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort in Kansas, 21 and over. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 168 hours after issuance. For additional terms and responsible gaming resources, see dkng.co/ice.
What gets me excited about watching hockey is the fast-paced nature of the sport. Woo! Yes, that was Sam Driscoll, our other co-host that you heard. In fact, that is what got me sold when one of the first batch of games I watched was Game 7 between the Hurricanes and the Oilers back in 2006. Now, when it comes to going to Hurricane games, I am able to see quite a few great deals I'd like to go to in the future using the Game Time app. One of its features that I like to use are the seat views because it helps me visualize what I will be seeing when I'm sitting in that particular seat. Another key feature I like is the all-in pricing that shows your total upfront cost with no surprise fees at checkout. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets with Game Time picks. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code THPN for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code THPN for $20 off. Download Game Time today. What time is it? Game time. It is game time, Sam. Let's get to our two games. First game, a little bit more optimistic. Obviously, we come out of the Colorado game losing. We kind of knew our win streak was going to end at some point of this road trip if you just looked at the teams. Happened against Colorado, but Sam, what a game against Vegas. Just very good response from the loss against Colorado. Yeah. And to me, this game showed just how good Martin can be. Like, I love Martin right now.
Yeah, no, he's been on fire recently. And again, all transparent, I did not stay up for this game against Vegas. I went to bed after the first.
It was a late game. It started at 10.
Yeah. And I'm loving what I'm seeing from Martinook. And I think right now, I am the most avid opponent of first-line Martinook. If you've listened to this podcast for any length of time, you know I don't like first-line Jordan Martinook. But when you're playing this good,
oh gosh!
But when you're playing this good, and your best player is not showing up the way he needs to, I don't know if it doesn't make sense. I believe Jordan Martinook and Sebastian Aho now they do need to play together. Because Aho has been invisible, and I know I'm not going to take your thunder, Sam, but he's been invisible for a little while now, and I think Jordan Martinook can help that.
Yes, I do. And to be honest, I think it's a little bit hard to put him on the first line right now just because of that injury to Seth Jarvis. It is a little bit tough. But at the same time, I think it will benefit Aho because you need an energizer on that first line. And I'm not saying Svetch isn't one, but Martinook, he's an all energizer type of player. He gets your line going. Aho and Svetch need it. Svetch, not as much as Aho, but you could argue Svetch probably could do better as well. And my whole thing with Aho is that the main issue, it's not the assist. That's the issue. Aho is putting up several assists. He got an assist against Utah on the Netches goal.
Yep.
It's the goals. And when your best player, it hasn't gotten 5-on-5 goal yet and has already played, 14 games already?
Yeah.
That's bad.
Agreed.
And there needs to be a fire lit under him. And it's just frustrating. And I mean, I was thinking, is this like on the coach? Is this all on the player? It's all on Aho because he's been the leading goal scorer under Robert Nemours' team, except for probably one season where Natchez got like 70-something points. That was it. So it's not a coaching thing. It's all on him.
Yeah. And I'll give more of my opinion when we talk about the game where we lost, because there I think it's more prevalent.
Yes. But it didn't really hurt Carolina all that much in the Vegas game. You have Robinson scoring from Walker and KK. Robinson was out in front of the nets. Good on him. He gets the goal from a blast from Walker. KK gets the goal. I thought KK was actually the best player against Vegas. I thought he did very well. He got a goal. It was a rebound off of his own shot, if you remember, Sam, because he shot at Vegas's goalie, but he was able to get the rebound. He scored, make it 2-0. And then that was when you and I kind of went to bed. So this review of this game might be a little bit short because of that. But in the second period, you have Jordan Stahl scoring on a shorthanded goal. Sam, I think that chance was more created by Martinook, who, again, been on fire. Been playing.
Look, I'm going to give Stonehand Stahl his credit. I love it when he scores.
Oh, I do too. But Martinook created that play because I watched the highlights, and Stahl was able to see the open puck right in front of Vegas's goalie. I think it was Hill. I do think it was Aiden Hill. And he just buries a hard slap shot. And I think what's funny, it might have been the Kane Stats Twitter thing. I think that was like his first slap shot goal since like several years ago. Didn't you see that?
No, I didn't, but that's funny.
Yeah, it was very interesting when I saw that. But good for Stahl.
Yeah.
I mean, we call him Stonehands best because I think it's a funny nickname.
Yeah, your dad is the creator of that.
He is. It's so funny. But he gets a goal, makes it 3-0. And then to me, what solidified the game was Tyson Joe scoring without having to do anything except for creating traffic. Because Slavin shot the puck, ricocheted off of Tyson Joseph's pants. So specifically, I want to give Tyson Joseph's pants good job for scoring a goal on Aiden Hill. So 4-0. And Sam, pretty much at the end of that second period, 4-0 Hurricanes. Canes were going to win. They're not going to blow a 4-goal lead. They might blow us 2-goal lead, but not 4.
Yeah.
And in the third period, Kochetkov was not able to do the shutout. Jack Eichel, their best forward, arguably their best forward, scores. And they have Martinook scoring on an empty net around 5 minutes into the third period. That was a pretty when I saw that, I was like, wow, they spoiled their goalie 5 minutes into the not into the third period, but 5 minutes left in the third.
Yeah.
And I mean, Barbachev scores for Vegas, but that's pretty much it. Carolina wins 5-2. Really excellent effort from Carolina. And then comes the very first game in franchise history, Sam, against Utah.
Yep. Didn't go well.
First and second period, I thought was probably an even game. To be honest, I thought both teams created good chances. But in the third period, my gosh. First period, you have Bogustad scoring. And Sam, to me, I do think this is one of those games where the puck luck was definitely on Utah's side.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was. Pamelka was having a great game too, so we kept shooting one at his chest, and we didn't make it hard enough for him, honestly. And that's the problem. At the end of the day, that was it, right? You only scored one goal. That's the problem. Now, I'm not taking blame away from Kochetkov. I don't think he had a great game, but obviously he was hurt after the
2-on-1 chance that Utah had.
So yeah, it was
in the third,
because it was the second goal he got hurt on. They scored the third goal, and that's when we pulled Kochetkov. And I think at that point it was he's too hurt to play.
Yeah, and you could tell when Brendan. To me, what was telling is Brendan Moore pulled him because I think he was like something's wrong with Kochetkov, and we saw him heading toward the room. He was mad.
He was very mad. So he's upset. And I love that. I love that about him. I love his passion and his drive. And we have not, other than probably Cam Ward, we haven't had a goalie that passionate and that, into the game. No, yeah, it's true. Mrazek. I love the passion and the fiery goalies because they care. And Kochetkov wants to win. He wants to be great. He wants to be the guy. And when he got hurt, and that's how you knew he's hurt, because he knows it. He's not happy about it, and it's just part of the game, unfortunately.
Yeah, it is, but it was just frustrating because we know Anderson's already out. Kochetkov leaves, and it's like, oh no, two of our starting goalies are out. Yeah. And to be honest, I mean, once I saw that, I was like, we cannot bring these two goalies back for next season.
No.
It's obviously going to be Kochetkov. We know it's going to be Kochetkov.
And someone else.
Anderson needs to go. Yes. It's at this point, I'm like, listen, he might play well in the playoffs. He might.
Yeah.
But you need a goalie who's healthy.
You have to have a goalie.
Even though it might be hard to get, you need it.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is a tough, very, very tough league. Half the teams make it to the playoffs. And if you look at their point percentage, it is well above 500 where they have to make it into the playoffs.
Yep.
It's very difficult.
Yeah, it is. And look, I don't want to discount Natchez scores on the power play in the second. Continues his point streak. Good for Natchez. That's where all of the good stopped, was in the second period, right? Because all we're talking about in the third, it's all happened in the third. Kochetkov getting hurt and Martin taking over, and they go up 4-1 because they score on Spencer Martin. And granted, Martin held his own the rest of the game, but he wasn't tested, Sam. And why wasn't he tested the last 11 minutes of the game? What did we have the last 11 minutes of the game?
Well, so what happened is, I can't remember the Utah player's name, but he apparently, I don't know if Jury said something to him. Really don't. I don't think he did, but I am looking up that player's name, though, because I think it is Michael Carcone, I believe.
Yes.
And he just somehow just pulls down Drury to the ice. He throws both of his gloves off, and he starts fighting him without Drury even partaking in the fight. And you know what? Good job on the refs there. Good job.
Yes.
For initiating the instigator, because there were quite a few penalties made on him. It was the instigator penalty, it was a fighting, and an aggressor penalty.
Yep. Yep.
7 minutes of power play time we got, Sam. And to me, this is what was embarrassing throughout most of the night. It wasn't Kachekov getting hurt. It wasn't the other 3 goals. It really wasn't. It was the fact that he had a 7-minute power play and Carolina could not score.
And it wasn't just 7 minutes because they took another penalty. It ended up
Delay
being
of game penalty.
9. The last 11 minutes of the game, we were on the power play for about almost 10 of the last 10 straight on the power play. You even had a 5-on-3 for about 30 seconds. And you could score. If you have a power play that lasts 9 minutes, almost 10 consecutive,
You
and
you
you
just
don't
score
score,
like 2. You just score
Yeah.
like 2 power plays goals.
because they're tired. They have been on the penalty kill for an unreasonable amount of time. And if you don't score, when you've got 10 minutes of power play time, back to back to back consecutive, you basically played half of that period, the back half of that period on the power play. You are gifted on a golden platter the opportunity to come back in that game. And you can't be bothered to score one. I'm not saying it's Aho's fault we didn't score, but he's going to be the captain of this team. He is a leader on this roster. He needed to score on that power play. If nobody else was going to, he needed to step up and score on the power play.
Yes, and honestly, I wouldn't be surprised if this started a trend of us being on a losing streak. But again, I don't want to overreact too much to the Utah game, but I think one thing that everybody's concerned about is Aho's ability to score a 5-on-5 goal.
Yeah.
And everybody's in agreement on that. And that is a huge concern. And I mean, I don't understand why. And to me, what's frustrating is like you have players like Martinook working their butt out on the ice. I would say probably outside of the Aho line, you can name at least probably 2 players on each line working their butt off. Aho, I don't think he's doing bad, but he's not making an impact, which he should.
Yep.
And he's not scoring goals.
Correct.
And I don't care what the advanced stats say. He needs to score goals.
Yes.
I don't care how good those advanced stats are. So if Eric Tolsky came to me or any of the people working in the analytics territory in the Hurricane saying, well, look at Otto, look at all these look at the Corsi, it's very good. Well, he's not scoring goals. So that means nothing to me.
Agreed.
So
Agreed.
eventually the chances of him being brought up are nothing if he doesn't score. Because that's what's happening.
And look,
I think right now.
Natchez is the best player on the team right now. Just is.
He deserved a break in that Utah game, but he scored.
Yeah, and at some point, Natchez is going to cool down because that's the nature of things. So Aho needs to start stepping it up. So it's not all on Natchez because it shouldn't all be on Natchez. And Aho needs to score. Like, I'm glad he's getting assists, but he needs to score goals. And if he's not going to score goals, then got to juggle up the lines. And I think it's time to juggle up the power play unit as well.
And I don't know what's going. Like, is he hurt? Is he playing like this in protest to what happened to Gensel? I think if that happened, that'd be a funny conversation to listen to.
Yeah, that's not happening. Aho would never purposely play bad.
No, he wouldn't. No, he wouldn't.
That.
But I do remember that Athletic article of him phoning Gensel. So obviously, I think if you told Aho about what are your thoughts about the whole Gensel thing, I think he'd be sad because Sam, to be honest, even though I love Jarvis, Svetch, Roslovic, the best player that has played with Aho on that line was Gensel.
Yeah.
And he doesn't really have that player. Now, this is not me excusing him because I remember the first season that he was under Brendan Moore's command as head coach. He was still playing very well. with line mates that were, I mean, they were good, but they were not like Gensel ability. So he can do it. This is all on him. This is not on Rod Brindamore.
Yeah. Look, we'll just see what happens. We're coming home for a back-to-back, and I expect good things out of Aho. I do. I really do.
Yes. And I don't want to see that rotating camera like we saw in the Utah game. That was weird.
Well, I'll be at the game for Saturday, so I don't care.
But I don't want to see it. I just thought that was weird. And another thing too is apparently Utah had 2 players that were a little bit dirty with Carcone and Ian Cole.
Oh, yeah.
Remember, he went to the box 2 times.
Yeah, I forgot he was on Utah, so that's kind of funny.
And when Adam Gold tweeted out, being like, Ian Cole cheated again, I laughed so hard to that.
Yeah, that was pretty good. A lot of good jokes made at Ian Cole's expense.
But yeah, well, that is it for this episode. We will see you guys Monday.